Welcome back to the KOM Morning News on Fox 14. Fortunate enough to have Matt, Daniel, and Ryan Peterson back in the studio with us from the Economic Security Corporation because we're talking about weatherization. And the Economic Security Corporation has come up with a marvelous checklist that if we follow these steps, it's so easy to do, and in the long run, it saves us money on our utility bills. But Ryan, before we jump into that, as far as the Economic Security Corporation goes, it's an organization that we hear so much about. People may not know your mission, though.
Our mission is to help low-income people get out of poverty. So we have a lot of programs that help with that in various ways. Our program, the Weatherization program, is to reduce energy bills. So that hopefully would free up some other money for them to be able to do other things with.
And also, too, and another thing that we were stressing here, this is all about getting the word out because the Economic Security Corporation has so much knowledge and just wonderful things. We just need to have people acknowledge that and utilize it. Matt, earlier we were actually talking about staying warm because we've got the wind chill in effect, but certainly here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be worried about keeping the house cool. Now, you brought us some great tips earlier about making sure that there's not a lamp near a thermostat, making sure that our air conditioning unit is cleaned out. When you compile these tips, though, what are some of the most frequent ones that people miss?
I think just keeping some different clutter type things away from the registers because, that one could make your unit not run efficiently, and two, it could run your unit and you're going to have to replace it. So just making sure that there's nothing around the vents letting the air get around the house.
Okay, now when you talk about clutter, so it could be something as simple as maybe we need to like move a table or something
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah, a box, anything.
When you venture into somebody's house, what are some of the most common questions that people have for you?
What temperature should I keep my thermostat on? We try to tell people, in the wintertime, you want to keep it as low as possible, but we know you want to be as comfortable as possible. So maybe just a degree or two will greatly help. And same thing in the summertime, if you want to just bump it up a degree or two, that's going to help save some.
That was probably somebody asking Matt a weather question. Right there. So weatherization question coming in right there. That's how we roll on the KOM Morning News on Fox 14. Ryan, when people go through this checklist, and like I said, folks, this is it's a wonderful, extensive checklist, but it's so easy to use at the same point in time. But I think by the time everybody gets to the last page, they go, "What's the bottom line, man? How much do you think people can save if they use these tips?"
Well, it's hard to say on those exact tips, but if they use our program...
Yeah, let's use that. Let's use the program as a whole.
That one's a little easier, so they can save up to $437 a year, depending on the measures that we can do to their house. But, that's a significant savings year after year for them to be able to have that money to spend on other things.
How did you get involved with the weatherization program through the Economic Security Corporation? Because, like I said, it seems simplistic, yet these are things we don't think about.
Right. So I have a construction background, but I also wanted to help people, and so that led me into economic security. And all these measures that we talk about, when we do them, they have to be cost effective. So every dollar that we spend, that measure has to save the client that much money over the life of the measure. So we're not just going in there willy-nilly putting in stuff.
Right.
Everything's run through a computer program that shows us what is cost effective.
What would you say as far as your background and the experience that you've had out there? If I had to put you on the spot and say, Ryan, give me two things that you think are the most effective when it comes to cost cutting and utilities.
Stopping air leaks, so around windows, doors, so you can use caulking, spray foam, weather stripping, plastic, whatever you have at your disposal. So stopping those, and then like Matt said, lowering your thermostat in the winter, and maybe bundling up a little bit more. Putting on a jacket, and then in the summer,
bump
the
it
opposite.
Bump it up a degree or two.
Correct.
Before I get you out of here, number one, I want to thank you for your time. But number two, now that we've convinced people that this is important and that they're going to save money in the long run. How do we get in touch with you, and where do we find these helpful tips?
So you can just call us, 417-781-4437. We can mail you the tips. We can email the tips. We can get you on our website, show you how to get there. We'll help you through the whole process.
In other words, if you will make the concerted effort to get in touch with Ryan and Matt, they are going to bend over backwards to help you. The most important thing is reaching out to them and setting up first point of contact.
Yes, sir.
Ryan and Matt, I want to thank you so much for your time. And once again, thank you for everything that the Economic Security Corporation does to help us all save a little money on the backside.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more KOM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.